There's nothing outside of consciousness. There's nothing outside of what you are. Think of it like this. If anything exists at all, there must be existence. And if there is existence, something must exist. If something exists, something must be real. Something can't exist and also not be real. Something can exist and have an illusory reality, but it would still have somewhere within it a reality, whether it was perceived correctly or not. So the next thing to look at is that we must then agree that if there is to be a reality, which there is, regardless of whether we know what it is or not, the fact that something is tells us that there is a reality. If there is a reality, it has to be present in all experience. Because if there was a part of experience, some experience, whether it was a dogs or cats and aliens or flies, if there was a part of experience or something that experienced that reality wasn't, it wouldn't be reality. We're not talking about reality at that point, because that experience wouldn't exist. Because if to have an experience where there is no reality present, in other words, no existence present, it's non-existent. Because wherever there is non-existence, there's non-existence. There's no reality, therefore there can't be experience. So what we're really looking at in this approach. So like, think about it. If there is, so to come back to the point, if there is a reality, it must be present everywhere. Reality can't be limited. There can't be a limited reality. Reality is ultimately real. Reality is that which is ultimately real, regardless of anything else. It's independent. Reality cannot be something that is created. It cannot be something that is sustained by something. Anything that would be created, sustained, and destroyed must be sustained, created, and destroyed in or within a greater reality. So reality itself has to be self-sustaining. It has to be standalone, that which is true ultimately beyond all other falsehood. So if that's the case, reality must be present in all experience. There can't be a part of experience that reality isn't. Even if we're illusory reality, even if it's a seeming, even if it's a reality that appears to be something else, all illusions have a reality. So there has to be a reality, and it must take place everywhere. So something in reality must be present in every person's experience and every possible experience. Reality must be that part of experience which cannot be created, maintained, or destroyed by anything else other than itself. It has to be permanent. It has to be something that cannot change. Something that cannot change it can't be an object, because any object is something that is always created, maintained, and destroyed. All objects find themselves in a smaller reality, borrowing their reality from a greater reality. You see, the reality of the wave borrows its existence from the ocean borrows its existence from the water. In our experience, the only thing that is absolute is awareness. So just go in your experience right now, your thoughts, all your experience is contained of thoughts, images, sensations. You have thoughts, you have perceptions, and then you have sensations. Even your thoughts sound like sounds, even your visualizations look like sights. There's some form of objective quality. Everything is just thought and perception. The only thing that does not change is awareness. Your awareness, the fact of being aware, is the only experience that is not a normal experience. It's a non-objective experience. It's the only experience that doesn't require the mind. You don't think about awareness. You don't look at awareness. You don't touch awareness. Awareness is self-evident. This is the one quality that is consistent between all changing experience, not just for you, but for every single possible experience. So let's just say that there was something outside of this awareness. what would it be? Because we know that everything we experience has to be contained inside awareness. So let's just say, what if there's another entity outside of awareness? Well, what would it be? It wouldn't be aware. It would be a pretty boring entity, you see, that didn't have awareness. So anything that exists outside of awareness, not only is it even disprovable even by a god, not even a god. Let's just think of like the traditional god, this omnipotent god, and not even that could render anything knowable outside of awareness. It could never know anything outside of itself. Because how would it be aware of it? And what would be aware of it? So we see that there's nothing outside of awareness. Not just that, but the fact that awareness is infinite. If you ask yourself right now, the awareness aspect of your experience, does it have any border, size, shape, or edge? Does it have any objective quality? Some people say, no, well, I feel it. Where do you feel it? You can't feel awareness. Awareness is aware of the feeling. So what is aware of the feeling if you can feel awareness? You can't feel awareness. Awareness is aware of the feeling. So awareness is, again, it's a quality that can't be defined. And this means it's unlimited, because you cannot limit something that doesn't have a size, shape, form, color, texture, that can't be touched, felt, or seen. It's absolute. You cannot limit an absolute substance, even though it's not a substance. So it's infinite. It's not finite. It's not something that we can contain. Now ask yourself, how many infinite things can there be? You can't have two infinite things, because one of them would have to render the other one finite. The only way you could have two infinite things is if they weren't really two infinite things, they were part of one infinite thing. And if there is an infinite thing, for example, if there's the possibility that something is infinite, which there is, awareness has no, it's infinite. If it has no, if it is infinite, which it is, there can't be anything else inside it. You can't have an infinite thing and then separate to the infinite thing, something outside of that infinite thing that is also inside it. Because if you imagine an infinite pool of water, if you put a stone in that pool of water, then you instantly put a limit on the infinite pool of water. The limit would be, even though it would be very, very vast, the limit would be the tiny bit of ratio where the stone takes place. That would be the edge of the infinite pool of water, which would make it not infinite. So if there is an infinite substance, which there is, awareness, nothing else can be outside of that. You can't, because otherwise it wouldn't be limited, it wouldn't be infinite. So all we're experiencing is infinity. We're experiencing absolute infinity. There's nothing outside of infinity, nothing inside of infinity. It's absolute infinity. And it's all made of awareness. So even if you were to go to your experience right now and just experience everything you experience is just awareness with a name and a form on top. Everything you touch your legs, your chest, the sofa, listen to any sounds. Every single experience that you seem to have, its primary experience is awareness. You're aware of it. The secondary experience is the thought and perception that you have of what that thing is supposed to be. It's like taking an open, empty canvas, drawing circles on it, and saying, this is a ball, this is a house, this is a... They're not any of those things. We're just dissecting one infinite canvas and saying, this little shape here is this thing, this is a leaf, this is a tree, this is a guitar. We're just taking one infinite canvas and dissecting it into pieces. Like a knife and fork. Think of like an infinite cake of consciousness. We're putting our fork in and then we're cutting it with thought and perception. Perception holds it down. The fork of thought, the knife of thought chops it up into pieces. And there we have this world of 10,000 things. When really we're not experiencing more than one thing, which is simply awareness. So even your body right now is an experience within awareness. There's nothing outside of that. You can't have a body that's inside. So we have this idea that we are in the head, but that's just another sensation. If you close your eyes, you say, I am here inside the body, but actually the body is here inside awareness. So when you go to find yourself, if you look for yourself right now, if you are in the body, then where must you be? In order to say that you are in the body, you must have valid evidence. You must have proof, in fact. Not just evidence, we have to have proof. Evidence is not proof. Evidence suggests proof, but evidence isn't proof. We have to have evidence and proof that we exist inside the body. So tell me now, where are you in the body? Where might you be? Because you're obviously not a finger, a thumb. You're obviously not an arm and a leg. You assume that you are the brain. But the brain, again, is another concept. Go to your experience. We have to come to a stage where we stop relying on other people to tell us about the actual internal experience that we're having. Because even if we chop open the brain and look at what's inside it, that gives us no evidence, no proof, nothing as to what actually is happening in our experience. For example, the image of your hand, when you look at your hand, that tells you nothing about the actual experience of your hand. When you close your eyes and experience your hand, that is the experience of what you call hand. This, looking at it, there's nothing. You see? Now, the experience of being in the experience of having your experience, for example, if someone was to look at your body, that gives them zero experience or proof or evidence of what it's like to be you. You know what it's like to be you. You're being you. Somebody else looking at your body gives you zero evidence or any clue as to what it's like to be you. So someone chopping open the brain, scanning all these little neural networks and blah, 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 gives you zero evidence, proof, or anything as to what it's like to experience that. You see? We have to stop relying on external things to explain an internal experience. An external can never explain an internal experience. It's not possible. Because that would always be explaining the relative world. This is the subjective world. And actually, there is nothing outside of that subjective world. And this is what we're here discovering right now. So when you go to this experience of being in the body, you notice that there's absolutely nothing there to find. Because everything you find is something you'd be aware of. And you are obviously the one that is aware. If you weren't the one that is aware, you would not be able to be aware that you are aware. Because if you were aware that you are aware without being the one that is aware, who is the one that is aware? And what is the other thing that's aware? You can't have two awarenesses going on, there's only one. You see? So you are the one that is aware. Whatever it is, regardless of what it is, you are simply that which is aware. So where is that in the body? You say it's in the head. Now ask yourself the question, just point. Am I here? Are you here? Is that where you are? Are you there in the eye? Are you there in the other eye? Are you here? Like, actually do this. Point to your head. Ask yourself the question, does it ring true to me that I am here? It makes me laugh. It actually makes me laugh. Ask yourself the question genuinely and point. Am I? Because I'm obviously not here. I'm obviously not there. I'm obviously not there. I'm right here. But here, am I here? No, that's still there. This is still there. Inside the head is still there. This is still there. This is still there. I'm not anywhere in experience. I am experience. And so are you. And there's nothing outside of experience because experience is made of awareness. So you're not in the body, you're not outside the body, there's no internal experience, there's no external experience. There's just experience. In the same way that clay is made of clay. There's nothing outside the clay, there's nothing inside the clay. The only thing inside the clay is clay. So you can't have an inside of an outside of a ball of clay. It's just clay. You can't have an inside or an outside of awareness. It's just awareness. You can't have an inside or an outside experience. There's just experience. So not dissociate, but so collapse this distinction between I'm having an internal world of thoughts and feelings, and outside here is a separate world of things and people. They're the same experience. It's just experience. There's no inside or outside. There's no separate you, separate from anything else. We're all sharing the same consciousness, living in the same consciousness. I am a wooden termite talking about wood, living in wood, celebrating wood. That's all that's going on. Now, I don't want to make this sound like some dry, boring thing, because it's not. Because actually, it's the source of meaning. It's the source of purpose. It's actually the most meaningful, loving, beautiful thing that could ever possibly exist. But to see that, we have to first see the reality, which is that we are not separate from anything. This is where the source of love and unity comes from. I have a free community. I take people through explorations, meditations, and give guidance on this every single week. If you would like to join, I'd love to see you there. The link is in the description. I look forward to seeing you. Take care.